All right, in financial news in South Africa, we keep asking, where will the money come from? Not enough revenue is coming in to help the poor, and South Africa has waded deeper and deeper into debt. Well, some organizations believe the solution is to tax people who are extremely wealthy. The Inequality Alliance South Africa says taxing South Africa's richest could generate about $8.4 billion a year and increase government's health budget by 55%. Now, it comes after the global organization Oxfam, which supports this organization, says that the world's richest 10 men saw their fortunes more than doubled during the COVID-19 pandemic, while the incomes of 99% of the world, the vast majority, fell over the same period, and 160 million people slipped into poverty. Inequality is a global issue. South Africa is one of the worst inequality rates in the world. To discuss, we're now joined by the National Coordinator for Inequality Alliance South Africa, Wafaa Abdurahman. Thank you for being with us. So let me start with the situation. It sounds like in South Africa, as everywhere else, the rich have gotten richer and the poor have gotten poorer.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me. Yes, definitely. I think the gap between the rich and the poor has increased. For me, what is strange is that over a period where we have COVID, where people lost their jobs, poverty and hunger was an issue, billionaires seem to have doubled their wealth, which means that gap that was there before COVID has even gone bigger during and after and at this particular point.
So you say the solution is an annual wealth tax, and that'll affect multimillionaires or billionaires. Firstly, the wealthy would say that they are already taxed. People who earn very well attract tax. Maybe then they're not in this bracket. But if you enjoy wealth, if your wealth grow over time, you are subject to capital gains tax. So how would the annual wealth tax work?
So yes, we are all taxed, but I think the tax is not commensurate with what they earn. And if you look at it, that whenever the budgets come around, the first places that the government does austerity on is the issue of social issues for the poor. And you'd find that there's so much negotiations between big business, multinationals, and billionaires, and their wealth taxes seem to decrease. And the taxes on the poor seem to increase every year. So yes, they may be paying taxes, but I don't think they are paying too much. We are seen as the most unequal country in the world. Why is that so when we have 5 of the richest or 6 of the richest billionaires in Africa living in South Africa? For example, Rupert has doubled his income over a period of COVID. So I'm saying, are they paying enough? Are they putting enough in the fiscus to provide for the poor? We are saying no, they are not. Because if they were giving as much as they could, we could have solved unemployment, we could have solved poverty. And we believe that if you give to the poor, for example, through a basic income grant, if they give to the poor, that same money that the poor is getting through the income grant will be spending it again in the shops that they are earning. So the billionaires will not be getting poorer, they'll actually be getting richer. Because we will now have economic power, we'll have something that we can spend, and we will definitely be spending it back into those shops that they are earning. So we are saying they are not being taxed enough, and they are not putting back. And also the money that they make is off the backs of workers.
Yeah.
If you see the retrenchments, people are losing their jobs, increases are few and far in between, but they are getting richer. How do you justify that?
So the names that have been mentioned, the Ruperts, Oppenheimers, Motsepes, Beckers, Ramaphosa's even, I cannot talk about how they deal with their finances. We don't always know. But rich people often take their money offshore. They are able to do that. They're still subject to capital gains if they reside in South Africa. But we know that there are clever legal ways to structure your finances. And the very real problem that wealth will run away. They don't like high tax jurisdictions. Is that not a huge problem here already in South Africa?
Yes, illicit financial flows, definitely. I mean, most of them take the money that's made here and they put it offshore where they have tax havens, they don't have to pay too much money. So it means that we are poorer for it. Our fiscus does not get that money. that money cannot then be redistributed amongst the poor. So yes, for us, the issue of illicit financial flows is a big thing. We feel that
But
government
not even
don't have
illicit.
the will.
Let's not say illicit, because we're talking about people of high reputation. But what I'm saying, isn't there a real problem that people want to maximize their wealth, so they may not want to keep it in high tax areas?
But I'm saying that if they made the money here off the back of poor people, why can you not then put your money back in and then create further jobs, open up industries, give money to the poor, stimulate the economy, because this is where you are doing your business. So why take it out of the country? Because this country is the one that's providing you with the finances to do your business. So I'm saying there is no justification for that. Yes, you can go and do with your money what you want to do with your money, but at the end of the day, why should we have such a big gap between the poor and the rich? I mean, if I look at Wafaa Oppenheimer, his wealth is 37 times more than he's 37 times more wealthy than the bottom 50%, which is 29 million people in South Africa. How I mean, I don't have any words to justify that.
So in early 2020, the president announced that the Ruperts and Oppenheimers had each committed 1 billion rand to support small businesses. That was voluntary, but you prefer something more regular at a higher rate. And I'm interested to know, some say because of apartheid and the measures the government used to ensure that white people would gain wealth and black people would not, should there be a tax on white people? Some have made that commensurate with wealth tax, or should this be colorblind?
I don't think as a Fighting Equality Alliance we want to promote racism. We are saying if you are super rich and if you are a billionaire, you need to put more into the fiscus so that it can be distributed amongst everybody in South Africa. We cannot say, oh, South Africa belongs to everybody, but it belongs to some and it doesn't belong to others. So even the fact that they have given that money didn't come without strings. It came as loans to small businesses in some instances. Yeah, I don't know what I can say, because even though they gave that 1 billion with the strings attached, they still make 50% more than their actual profits that they had the year before. So I'm saying, is that enough? We don't need to have that gap, the major gap that we're having at the moment. There's no justification. And for me, it's not about race. It's about the rich versus the poor, or the super rich versus the poor. And why are we not able, why is the government not having the balls to actually tax them more? Why can't they do what they need to do? If they are so worried about poverty, unemployment, if you look at it, the youth, they finish school, next thing, they don't know where they're going to. Firstly, their parents don't have money to send them to university. Secondly, there's no jobs out there. What then happens in our areas? Crime escalates. Because now they go and join the...
We're hearing you. Thank you for outlining your stance exactly as you have. That was the National Coordinator for the Fight Inequality Alliance South Africa, Wafaa Abdurahman.